Hi guys, John Comes Sits Outdoors. When you know my card got full, I actually finished putting this together before I realized my camera had shut off. So I've taken it back apart to about where the first part of this series now, or two-part set, is gonna take off from. Let me make sure you can see. So that's about where my memory card got full. Granted, now the rest of my sticks are already broken to the right length. We're just going to continue what we were doing. Now once you get to the top, you don't want to keep trying to go back and forth, so you just finish off with them all the same direction. And there you have it, guys. Just that easy. Don't know about how long that took, but like I was saying at the beginning, you could use this for the actual trap. You could use a figure four type trigger system. There's multiple different trigger systems you can use with this. You can have your trigger sticks going to the back. But the main thing I wanted to talk about it, and going back to the beginning, when I said /cage, if you are snaring, you're after birds or rabbits or squirrels or whatever, you're in a survival situation and you have a snare line out, whether that's 10, 15, 20 different types of traps or snares, and you're trying to, you know, feed yourself and come up with calories. If I was to get a rabbit or a squirrel or a bird, anything, I wouldn't stop going after more just because I got one meal. You may catch 2 or 3 critters in one day and nothing the next 2 days. Like I said when I was doing my net trap the other day, well, I didn't actually say it on the video, but I put it on the comment. Live food's not going to spoil. So just because I have one meal doesn't mean I'm going to stop trying to catch some more birds or whatever. So what am I going to do with them if I get more? This is what I would do. That's why I said /cage. If I was to snare some more birds in the net trap or whatever the case may be, yes, I could just tie a string on their leg and tie them to a tree if I wanted to attract predators, which I don't. I want to put them somewhere where I know they're safe, they can't get away. I would put them in one of these. I would make sure it's nice and flush so there's no gaps at the bottom. I'd either weight that down or get some Y branches and stake down the corners, or even take some stakes in through it like this. And just put some stakes like that so that it couldn't come up. That's just an example. I'm not actually staking it in there, but in any case, if I had some extra birds, I want to keep them fresh, I can hold them in here. Now if I was to have a squirrel, I could do the same thing, but in that case I would dig down in the dirt and put a layer of rock in here before I put this down. And the other issue then, let me grab this over here, is you're not going to want to handle a squirrel like you would a bird. So that goes back to our critter catch pole, control pole, snake pole, whichever one you want to call it, that we did in that previous video. The other nice thing about this is, let's say I had 2 or 3 birds in here and now I'm ready to have one for lunch. I can slide one of these sticks in far enough to get this in there, loop it around that bird, tighten it up. I may have to move the stick further than that, or a second stick maybe even, but I can pull that bird out without releasing any of the others. Or if like I said about the squirrel, you're not going to handle a squirrel without something like this unless you want to get bit. So, like, you very well could use this for the trap too, but in my opinion, go ahead and go with the snare, spring snare setups, net snare setups, trail snare setups, and make yourself one of these for a cage. Keep your live food fresh with this. That's pretty much all I have to say about that. Real quick, while I was out here gathering the sticks, found some feathers. Quick tip, if you're doing any kind of a baited snare setup, a whole bait setup, whatever the case may be, and you want to attract animals to that, if you take a feather like this and a little piece of string and you tie it up into a branch above your set 2-3 feet off the ground, you're going to attract more animals to that bait set than without it, because an animal, and this would work especially well for bobcats, but bobcat may not be something you want to go after in a survival situation. But the fact is that if you have this blowing in a breeze above your bait set, they may not smell it from a 75 or 100 yards, but they'll see this and come to check it out. Next thing about a big feather like this, and both feathers, if I wanted to try to make a fly, I could use that feather for that, but also this big feather like this, I already cut the top off. I could cut this off, wash it out, and I'd have a straw. If the only water I can find is pooled up on big leaves or something like that, I could use that as a straw to get the water. So just another survival idea. If you find stuff like this in a survival situation, don't overlook it. Everything becomes a resource.